slamming beers and like having a party outside the caravan.
They were watching us very, very carefully.
Mike went and got a tractor.
It was in a perfect position for me to chew my face off.
I don't know whether it was the nose kai.
Like some sort of demented zombie.
Something could go wrong here today.
And it was way too close for comfort.
I don't think that tractor's moving. That Eden Park game between New Zealand and Australia in the World Cup, the pool game is what I'm talking about, it was a day game, was the best cricket atmosphere I've ever witnessed in New Zealand.
I've never seen more people want to go to a cricket game who'd never watched cricket in their life. Everyone was asking for tickets.
I mean, it's Australia, you know, it's our big foe. So the whole area around Eden Park, Kingsland, all the bars was going off. There was a fever. I think we were at a bar beforehand doing a sort of a pre-match thing, that's what we were doing at that time. We'd go and talk to cricket fans and people going to the game and, as I say, get their views on stuff and absorb that atmosphere. By this time, we're becoming a sort of almost a credible media commentary team, and I think there was a live cross at one point to an Australian broadcaster.
Channel 9 sent, I think, was it Nerily Meadows? Nerily Meadows, she was doing a cross. So we met her at Neighbourhood Bar at the time, I think it was, and we were doing a cross back to the studio where it was Brendan Julian was hosting.
I remember the guys really ripping into the Australian team with their nicknames and all sorts of stuff and giving them a hard time.
Jeremy clocked that she was crossing back to BJ because she heard him say BJ. She straight away asked Jerry, you know, what do you think the chances are? And Jerry just came straight in with, like, I don't think I've seen a worse Australian cricket team since Brendan Julian's times. And so the scene was set, you could see her face drop, and then she moved on to Matt, and Matt goes, look, first of all, we've got a better looking team. Australia, disgustingly ugly. It went on, and basically you could see her face drop, and then I think I dropped a swear word in there, and then she actually just walked off.
And I think they may have cut the interview short. So it was ominous signs early on, pre-match, that something could go wrong here today. You know, before the commentary even started, the guys had been cut off. Whew, it's gonna be full on.
Could you see the ground? Where was the caravan positioned that day?
Not quite.
The position of the caravan's always crucial for the ACC, and at Eden Park, our preferred position was in this sort of little alleyway looking right onto the ground.
The ACC caravan was moved back from where we were because I think certain people weren't very happy about it.
We were vindictively placed way further back than we needed to be.
We were down a tunnel. There's a theme emerging here with these ICC Cricket World Cup caravan positionings.
Again, the caravan was placed in one of the most bizarre locations.
I distinctly remember looking down a back alley towards the game, and the behaviour that was in it had sort of a back alley feel. I'm pretty sure we were being surrounded by what seemed like homeless people, burning rubbish in bins. There was a lot going on.
I couldn't really see the game. You could sort of see part of the field, but no, we were commentating off a delayed monitor. And
it was also in public. It was so public could access the caravan. So people were coming smashing on the side of the caravan, trying to pass beers in, trying to make Lee Hart Skull beers.
And it's a great position too, because if there's streakers and stuff, they can run past and they can jump into the caravan and use it some sort of amnesty, sort of, you know, because the security guys weren't allowed to jump into the caravan and pull them out. So most streakers would be running around trying to get to the caravan, which we didn't condone that kind of stuff. We're trying to do commentary, but it really was attracting them.
And at one stage, there was about 30 or 40 dudes outside just slamming beers and like having a party outside the caravan, which we got blamed for. But the fact they put us in a public space was always asking for trouble.
Was it the Eden Park officials, I think, kept moving the caravan further back, and we kept moving it further forward?
So with all the cables coming out of it, all the ACC got out, took the handbrake off, and we slowly moved it forward, and we moved it as close as we could to the gate so we could see the ground. And after about 20 minutes, someone from the ICC or some venue manager or something came down and was fucking spitting tacks that would move the caravan, and we said, well, we need to be able to see the ground. And then he stormed off and he goes, I'm bringing security back, yeah, blah, 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 this is fucked, blah, blah, blah. And then we decided, fuck it.
I do remember someone blocking the caravan in so we couldn't move it.
And once again, it had to be Lane that did that.
Mike went and got a tractor.
Not a big one, like a little John Deere tractor. And I was like, what are the chances that's got keys in it? So, and remember, This is in the public area. So this is a tractor with keys in it in the public area. So I got in there, started it up. I thought, fuck it. So I drove it and I put it hard up against the Caravan so there's no way the Caravan could move. And then with great delight, watched this venue manager came back with security.
It was pointed out to the Eden Park official that the Caravan couldn't be moved because there was a tractor that was parked, but right behind it, like right up against it.
And we were like, mate, we'd happily move the Caravan, but there's a fucking great tractor behind it. So, you go figure.
And then the Eden Park person said, well, where are the keys to this tractor? We need to move the tractor. And then everybody was looking around for the keys.
And we watched him scream and yell for about 20 minutes.
And then G-Lane turned around to me and said, when they weren't moving, and held up the keys. Gave him a little shake. He said, I don't think that tractor's moving.
That was the turning point. From then on, I don't think the Caravan was ever really allowed in the ground again. I could be wrong about that, but that is how it felt. And there was an inquiry, of course. There's always an inquiry after every ACC match.
Looking back on it, and the arguments we had with all those ICC officials started to compound things. And I could see why that we were a lot more trouble than we were worth.
We were really pushing our luck a bit at the stage. But that's a bit vague to me because I got evicted before the eviction. There was a pre-eviction for me.
Lee didn't land the plane for the night before, and we just had to redirect that DC-10 out of the Caravan and back home. Luckily, Lee lives quite close to Eden Park.
I think it's a first in cricket, or probably any sporting history, that the top broadcaster has been thrown out of his own commentary by the security of the ground. There was me and a couple of other sort of guys getting thrown out of the stadium, and I've got a commentary jacket on. So I just went home and watched it at my place, which was quite close to Eden Park. It felt weird because I kept commentating to the TV screen.
So he didn't finish with a full complement, but he did manage to play a bit of cricket on his way out of the ground, which was noted by security as well.
I kind of feel lucky that I did get thrown out early because I think it kind of turned to custard after that from what I heard.
I personally suffered quite a horrific injury due to the tenseness, the intensity of that game.
Australia started with a hiss and a roar, started smashing us around. I was like, oh no, it's going to be one of these games. And then next thing you know, Tim Southee, I think, bowled Aaron Finch. And from that point on, New Zealand was on a roll. Dan Vettori dried up all the runs. We ended up bowling them out for 150, something like that, late 140s.
We thought, she's all over Rover. This is going to be a great New Zealand victory.
And then there's a break. And then all of a sudden we started losing wickets and the game just turned. And the tension, it went from like this massive celebration to complete fear.
I couldn't handle how tense it was, so I abandoned the Caravan to watch. I couldn't be on air. It was causing problems. I was damaging the equipment. I was thrashing around wildly in the Caravan. And ACC here, G-Lane asked me to just take a break and cool down. So I went out and watched the game with the crowd.
He could not deal with the pressure. He had to leave the Caravan.
He might have been semi-nude. He might have rested his testicles on my shoulder at that point.
Fuck, it was tense.
But there was certainly a lot of tension in the group, that's for sure.
He bit a massive hole in his lip. He was just in this the whole time.
And then Kane Williamson ended up hitting that six.
When we won, when Kane Williamson hit that six and we won that game, bleeding horrifically, I sort of entered a zombie-like state and then attacked the Caravan from the front window, bleeding from the face. And I blame the intensity of the game.
And he just came straight to the window like some sort of demented zombie. And he was like, "Aah!"
New Zealand needs 6 to win. Come on. Here's Williamson's going to be on strike now. Steadying the ship. It's Cummins bowling to Williamson, and he goes back and he launches it over for 6. New Zealand have won the game! New Zealand have won the game with a 6 from Kane Williamson.
Thank
what
God.
A game of cricket. Kane Williamson.
Steady the bloody ship.
What a hero.
Captain Cook strikes again. You little beauty, Kane Williamson. Get him in here.
New Zealand win by 1 wicket. Matt Heath is going insane outside. He looks like a madman.
He's actually bleeding as well.
Just a huge eruption as Steady the Ship won the game for us, and a huge feeling of relief in the ACC camp because we thought it was going to be a cakewalk and it was way too close for comfort.
Well, when Williamson hit that 6, I mean, obviously you can hear the commentary. It went off. And that was amazing. That was a turning point for us. You know, when he hit that, we were having a lot of fun and enjoying it, and this is great. But meanwhile, of course, we can't forget. Well, it's hard to forget. There was some incredible, historic cricket going on. Well, I wasn't there at that point. I was at home watching. I'm still trying to get my TV going actually, but I could hear what's going on instinctively. So I still felt like I was part of the action. That was really good.
Chaos ensued.
Please tell me you didn't do it.
Saying, what's this all about? You can't go onto the field of play.
There's allegations of match fixing, and you've been thrown out of the World Cup.
Gatorgate, I think a lot of the world media was calling it. And
Guess the commentary members perennium.
A member of the team's sexual mucus.
We are the only commentary team to ever be thrown out of a World Cup.